Nu så vill jag välkomna fram dagens första keynote-talare, Lars Hulgård, professor från Roskilde universitet i Danmark. Välkommen Lars!
Tack för det!
Och vi är så stolta. Här har jag den och jag har den. Lars som faktiskt är en person som har satt väldigt mycket av agendan för utvecklingen utav det här området, inte bara i Norden men också över hela världen, det vet jag. Och byggt upp många nätverk utav forskare från väldigt många olika universitet. Så vi är fantastiskt hedrade Lars, över att du har skrivit inledningen till boken 100 sociala innovationer som kan förändra Sverige. Så varmt välkommen dagens första keynote, Lars Hulgård.
Tack för det. I have promised to be speaking in English today because if I speak in Danish I tend to talk very fast. My English is not extremely good, but I think it's a better way to get the message out here. First of all, a big congratulations to Hanna and to Malmö Högskola with this wonderful publication and the summit in itself. It is really amazing. I saw this book just last night. I think the selection of these 100 social innovations are extremely good, and also the selections they're not here anymore, but the presentations here today are wonderful, and they fit actually very well with my conclusion here. I would like to pass on my conclusion right now while I still have your attention. And the conclusion is that Sweden is a world leader in social innovation. You may not really like that, because very often when we talk about and study social innovation and social entrepreneurship and social enterprise and social economy, we always tend to say that other countries are better than ours. Why are we so far behind when the UK is so far ahead? Why can't we learn more from other countries? But actually, I would probably warn you against looking too much to the UK. And instead, look at the heritage, the history of Sweden. And that is why I call Sweden a world leader. I've been given 10 minutes here, and in these 10 minutes I want to present three things. Why we need social innovation, what it is, social innovation, and sustain my argument about Sweden being a global leader in social innovation. Why we need social innovation is due to the immense challenges, social and societal challenges related to demographic changes, climate change, and a multi-dimensional crisis that may not have had such a devastating impact on our countries in the north and on the Nordic countries. But still there's a kind of permanent crisis consciousness also here. And the European Union particularly is interested in how social innovation and social entrepreneurship can contribute to produce a social growth, a new social growth agenda. In 2010-2011, the president of the European Union asked a think tank, a Bureau of European Policy Advisors, to come up with a report on what is social innovation in the European Union. And this think tank, this bureau, it is called Bureau of European Policy Advisors, they argue that, quote, the global crisis has made it clear that most of the challenges we face today have taken on an increasingly social dimension. Among the most prominent are the fight against unemployment, aging, and climate change. On the top of this, the Nobel Prize recipient in economics, Joseph Stiglitz, has claimed that we urgently need social innovations due to the inequalities constantly produced by the conventional economic model. He says that yes, the economic model, the economic market model produced growth, but the profits of this growth accrue to just a fraction, he says, of the population. So while economists used to think that the economic growth and economic evolution would make us all richer, he says that this may not in fact be true. And even more importantly than Stiglitz, we now have another famous economist, the French economist Thomas Piketty, who claims that the 21st century may be the most unequal period in human history. He claims that in his book about capital in the 21st century. He's not even a Marxist or particularly a leftist. He's a concerned person, a concerned academic, a concerned observer, and he claims this, that we are entering a period that may be the most unequal period of time that we have ever faced. So we live in difficult times. So let's avoid to build a social innovation summit where we all just raise our hands and say, yes, we can do it. We can change it with the goodness of our hearts and with inspirational and charismatic leadership of individual social entrepreneurs. These are important, but we also need thorough analysis of the past trajectory of our societies. And we need to understand the more structural dimensions as well. Because if we don't do that, we will fail to make a more equal society. Not only to combat poverty at the micro level, but also to change the structures. So, yes, we need social innovation, but what is social innovation? Let's hear a few definitions. And Hanna, you can just enter the stage when you want me to quit. I'm not particularly focused on time. Let's hear a few definitions from this very, very thorough Bureau of European Policy Advisors, how they define social innovation, working for the European Union. Quote, social innovations are innovations that are social in both their ends and their means. In both their ends and their means. It is not only about producing an end result, a product with a social value. The social value is the engine that drives everything in the organization, which was also wonderfully presented in these examples of social innovation that we just heard. So please observe that this definition is also about creating value through participatory and empowering processes, which is in fact the second part of the definition launched by the Bureau of European Policy Advisors. Observe that there's no single word about becoming more commercial, becoming more business-oriented, about adopting strategies invented by the private corporate world. There's no word about that in the definition. It's all about being better and better in defining and addressing the social values. Then let's turn to social entrepreneurship. Is that then about using business methods to address social problems and challenges? Let's hear one of the absolute top specialists in the area of understanding social entrepreneurship. Some may even call him really one of the founding fathers of this area as an academic discipline. It is Professor Gregory Dees, who worked, unfortunately he passed away a few years back, who worked at different universities, Stanford and Duke and others. He defined one social entrepreneurship like this. Social entrepreneurship is not about starting a business or becoming more commercial. It is about finding new and better ways to create social value. Again, Even in social entrepreneurship, it is not about becoming more commercial or adapting business models that has proved to be working in the conventional market economy. It is about finding new and better ways to generate social value. So what is always important is to define what is the social value. Here, from the 5 examples of social entrepreneurships and social innovation, the social value was very, very clear. When you define that, then you can adopt the most, in fact, crazy business models. There's no evidence that one particular business model or managerial procedure or an organizational model work better than others. So please, somebody could tell how come that in the policy world of social entrepreneurship and social innovation today, it is very, very high on the agenda to copy models from the corporate private world into social innovation and social entrepreneurship. We tend to get people on board from the private world on board of the boards of the social innovations and social enterprises to learn managerial procedures. Maybe it is also time to do it the other way around, to have social entrepreneurs and social innovators in the boards of big private enterprises, to change them and to really put the social agenda into the core of their activities. That might help better in changing this terrible situation noted by Stiglitz, Piketty, and many, many, many others. So, finally, I said that Sweden is a global leader of social innovation. I have argued in my chapter, in my introduction to the book, I've argued that the most interesting and powerful social innovation originating in the Nordic countries, from the Nordic countries, as a gift to the world, at least to ourselves, is the universally oriented institutional welfare state. That is, in Denmark, we usually call it the Scandinavian welfare state, but in fact it is more fair to call it the Swedish welfare state. You even had a special Swedish notion for that welfare state, Folkhemmet. But this welfare state in our countries, it is tending to be stuck in the victories of the past. It is like it has gone blind, and there is a lack of visions about how to sustain this institutional and redistributive character of the welfare state. I could talk a long time about this, but I don't have the time here. But let's hope that all these 100 social innovations could be a kind of micro examples, and not only micro, also bigger examples of how to create a new vision for the welfare state that keep the promise that we actually have been very close to solve, to build egalitarian societies with a huge aspect of participation and actual empowerment. That is my wish. Thank you very much. Ja.
Varmt tack Lars, varmt tack. Och ni kommer också kunna lyssna på Lars idag på en session till runt lunchdags, just som handlar om det här med social innovation och vad det är. Så varmt tack för att ni alla kom den här morgonen och delade den här lanseringen med oss. Vi säljer boken idag till ett lanseringspris 100 kronor här utanför. Så ja, underbart att ni alla är här. Och ni som ska gå på Social Innovation Summit, som har de här orangea badgerna, ni är så varmt välkomna in till teatern där vi börjar. Och jag vill också tacka alla er som har kommit hit speciellt för den här lanseringen. Varmt tack och ha en riktigt, riktigt fin dag.